Hey everyone, welcome to the Jeep Life Podcast live edition. And getting ready to do a fun evening of the show. Let some people get on here and then we'll get rolling. I hope everybody had a great Christmas. And let's see who jumps on here first. It's been a contest between Mike and Josh lately. Hey everybody. Hey there, Kate and Glenn. Yo. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Well, welcome. Should be a fun night tonight, and we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fun. I might get heated. Let's try to remember everybody's. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Just don't hurt anybody's feelings tonight, but I think I've got some good hot takes, and I kind of want to see where everybody lands with them. Put that over there. Yeah, heated does sound fun. This is yeah. I hope I don't lose listeners because of tonight. I just hope everybody thinks that it's fun and rolls with it and has a good time. Um, but yeah, it does sound fun, right? But it is a listener participation night tonight, which I think I've got the right people on tonight for that so far. Um, I'm going to go out and share this out. Yeah, there we go. All right, I've got it shared out now. Everybody can do the same and get the word out there. Oh, selling some used parts. If you have any catalytic converters, let me know. Radis, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you on here. But yeah, tonight should be fun. Share it out with everybody. If we can get the more people on here, the better. I think it will induce some really, really um, good conversations. And of course, I will try to read everything that comes on the screen, and I'll try to keep up. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm not the fastest in the world, in the West, anywhere, but I'll get it out there and we'll do our best. So we'll give it another minute. I think we got a few people that are in. Fingers are crossed. We lost power here um, about an hour ago, I guess, and I'm hoping that we don't have any issues um, tonight. If we do, we get cut off. I'll try to get back on just for fair warning, so don't give up on me if that's the case. All right, I want to talk a little bit about our um, partners here for a little bit. Armorlight obviously has been a partner of ours for a very, very long time, and we appreciate them. If you go to goarmorlight.com, use the passcode or use the code Jeep Life Podcast 10, get a complete system at Armorlight. But yeah, so Armorlight has been around for a while, and we appreciate them. Power Tank is another partner of ours. Go to powertank.com, use discount code JeepLifePod15 for complete system at checkout, and that is a complete system. Pipes, our good friends over at Pipes are offering free shipping on their systems to our listeners using code JeepLife at pipesexhaust.com or pipessexhaust.com. Our friends over at Tyree Off-Road also offer us, our listeners, Jeep Life 15 is the code there for 15% discount at Tyree Off-Road. So our thanks to them. It's always good to have these partners in our wheelhouse, and we appreciate that. Just getting to the people coming on. Hi, Trisha. How's it going? Oh, it's so darn cold. I am not a good winter person. I hate the winter, hate the cold. It used to be I loved going skiing, so it was perfect. And I could tolerate it while I was skiing, but the rest of the time, no. And to be realistic, I wanted to be able to drive somewhere where I could ski, like within an hour. So, all right. I think it's time for me to get things kicked off. I appreciate everyone coming on, and I'm going to hit that button. Hey, what's up, Jeep Life family? Welcome back to another episode of the Jeep Life Podcast, where we talk builds, trail rides, stories, and everything in between. We're proudly sponsored by Armorlight, the toughest flooring on the trail. Check out Armorlight at goarmorlight.com and use Jeep Life Podcast 10 for a complete Armorlight system at checkout. Our thanks to them for our continued support of the Jeep Life Podcast as our presenting sponsor. Tonight's episode is sponsored by the New Jersey Jeep Invasion, hosted by Blinker Fluid Productions. We're with them for the next 6 months, 5 months now, to promote the New Jersey Jeep Invasion for next year. Our favorite show of the year, the 13th annual New Jersey Jeep Invasion, Friday, July 10th through July 12th, 2026. And I am your host, Jeep and Terry. And I hope everyone had the happiest of holidays and a very Merry Christmas. It's the end of the year, and I wanted some fireworks. And tonight we're just going to hit with some hot takes. Maybe that'll stir up some fireworks. Some of these will just going to throw some gas on the fire or just laughs at some. Hopefully, it's all in good jest. So hopefully, not going to piss anybody off. But here's the best part: you, the listener, if you're listening live, you get to be a part of this. And so live chat is about 6 to 10 seconds delayed. So I'm going to give the hot take or any of my conversation. I'll keep talking for a few seconds, and then we'll circle back and read the comments. So while you're hanging with us, drop a comment, shoot a message, whatever works. Tell us your thoughts. I will get that. I'll put it up on the screen, and then I'll talk about it. So we want you to be involved. And if you're not listening live, and you're listening to this in your Jeep or whatever, at work or whatever, feel free to yell at your phone or your MP3 player, whatever your stereo, whatever works. But just have some fun. But I wanted to kick things off first by doing a quick year in review for myself and some of the things that us Jeepers were involved with. In February, went down to Walt Disney World, my I guess second favorite place on earth now, um, second behind Moab. But I love Disney World and I go every chance I get. It's been a while, but I drove my Jeep down and from here to there, 15 to 18 hours depending on how it rolls. But it had two major radiator coolant issues on the way down and on the way back. So I don't know that my Jeep is ready for that again, maybe trailered. But I'm the guy that I want my vehicle with me if I can have it. But I guess next time I'll fly or throw it on the auto train, maybe. Who knows? That's a thing. Um, so I had a great time in WDW and it was amazing. Saw some friends from Texas. It was just great. But the radiator and coolant issues sucked. And but got those fixed, spent a lot of money getting those fixed, blah, blah. All right, into March. Really, for me, March was more about installing my Trigger six shooter switch system, which is absolutely amazing. Installed it on my Jeep with my Jeep Club brothers, and I am so grateful to them for helping me out. And I really, really, um, I love the six shooter. It's great. It's a wireless um, switch system, so I can turn on and off lights or any basically 12-volt system thing straight from a wireless remote. I have it mounted over the rear view mirror, and I love that. Um, then it's everything to do. So I'm all about shipping the Jeeps and flying down to meet it. So much easier. Yeah, that makes way more sense. So next time, there's a big Alpine event, maybe I'll do that. I'll ship the Jeep down and then meet it down there. Um, friends keep getting error message for coolant temp low. Any ideas? Probably the thermostat is open all the time. So probably switch out the thermostat. Make sure it's an OEM one. The the third party ones tend to not be super friendly. Spend the little extra money and get the OE, but I think low temp is typically stuck on open all the time, and so the radiate is just continually going. So look into that. April, obviously EJS. I took nine days to drive out there. Highlights while out at EJS, obviously getting to hang out with my friends, Rob and Matt and Eric and all the Tread Lightly folks. We did a Tread Lightly project. We were out there. Um, and it was pretty awesome. The Tread Lightly project was on top of the world. So is sightseeing and doing some projects. Did some trails I'd never done before behind the rocks and the Metal Masher. I've done that multiple times, but it was good to do it this time. What else? I don't remember what else. It's been a while since I've done that, but it's good to be out there. Um, and then lightning fast to Daytona for the Daytona Jeep Beach, which is it's great. I think it's awesome. It's you do the vendor show inside of um, the raceway. Um, I've gotten to see Holly a couple times this year, um, and maybe if I'm lucky enough, she'll make it a guest appearance. Um, she and I were talking maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and um, she's always willing to come on the show. I'd love to have her open up season 7 because she opened up, I think, season 3 and 4 for us. So I'd love to have her come out. But yeah, we love Holly. Um, in May, I got my Jeep dog, Coco. Love her. She's awesome. She's been off roading with me a couple times, camping, and she's awesome. Great addition. Um, Sweet as she can be, and loves everybody. June, Lexi graduated from high school. Wow, what an emotional roller coaster that was. Um, and then Bantam Jeep Festival, one of the smaller shows, but a lot of history there. Uh, Butler, Pennsylvania is a great little town. Had dinner with my good friend Dan, and it it was great. Um, in July was obviously Wildwood and New Jersey Jeep Invasion. Good to get down there and see Jamie and Allison and be a part of that, which I'm looking forward to. The 13th annual New Jersey Jeep Invasion, and that will be next July. And as a partnership, we are giving away 3-day passes to that, and we get our December winner. Um, we sent that out, and we're looking for January winner. And how do you win? How do you get it? Just interact with us every time you interact, chat, or you send me an email, or you react to one of our social media posts. Then you get entered into that drawing, and we draw randomly. Probably do it in middle of January, I guess, for the January one, and hope one of you win it. It'll be great. That way we can hang out. Um, well, with that, we'll be doing a Jeep Life podcast meet and greet. We'll do that. Uh, I'm not. I'm not. I'll give out the details when we have it all lined up. I'm still looking for a complete sponsor for that. Go to Blinker Fluid Productions website, and if you have interest in that. August, we got Lexi moved into college. That was a whirlwind day because I got her moved into college and left immediately for Tennessee for Great Smoky Mountain, and was down in Tennessee for Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, which is an amazing show. Um, the biggest one of the year, and it's definitely worth it getting to see all. I mean, there's 50,000, more than 50,000 Jeeps down there, and it's just great to meet fans and people walking by getting selfies with me and recognizing me by my voice, or but it's really cool to be there. So make sure to um, go down and do that next year. September rolls around, and my friend Alan and I did the oil cooler in Kylo. Um, it was the third or fourth time they've been done, several under warranty, and I'm outside of that warranty now. And so Alan and I did it. He was gracious enough to host, and we jumped over there. It's it's not a difficult um, repair, um, but it is a time consuming and annoying repair. So I one of the sensors is reading bad now, so I have to go back and do the whole thing over again and put new sensors on. But yeah, it was a pain. Um, then our fall trail ride and camping with the Jeep Club, always a great time. Um, love doing that. Love getting out there with everybody. Um, October brought Jeep parades, decorating for Halloween, all that stuff, and then went wheeling with my new employer, or Dirt Life Fab, and 4x4 went out with the team there, and it's pretty cool to um, work with everybody that just wheels, and it's awesome having Jeepers around. It's great. And then in November, tragedy strikes with Lexi blowing up her 3.8. We're still working on that. The first engine we got was bad. Now we're on to our second, and hopefully we'll figure that out soon. I went and looked at it um, 2 nights ago, so maybe we can get that settled before she has to go back to school. Um, but that's 2026. I mean, 2025, and looking for a great 2026 and a happy new year, right? Um, so if you've got New Year's resolutions, put those together and send them our way, and maybe we'll read those if they're Jeep related or whatever. Um, what's up, Sean? How's it going? Sean from Florida. I'm sure it's a lot warmer in Florida right now. Sandra, I hope you can get out to New Jersey Jeep Invasion this year too. It's a good time, and come a day early, hang out with me and the Jeep Life podcast. We'll be doing a takeover somewhere in Wildwood. All right, so how can you support us? We have Patreon, and we have multiple levels of that. We got to pay subscriptions and all that stuff, so it just helps with that. Leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. It means the world to us when I look up and I get to read new um, new reviews. It just it's great. It's fun. It makes me um, excited. I get giddy almost with that, and so go leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. It's great. I'll read it on air. Um, Send us an email. Tell us your thoughts on the show. Follow up on the show. Ask for stickers. If you ask for stickers, I'll send them out. Um, Show topic suggestions. If you have that suggestion, throw it out there. Who knows? All right, coming on the live show and being Joe, how's it going? I haven't seen you in forever. I need to hang out. What's up, Troy? Yeah, get up here. Come on. Um, I'll try to find a way to get us some off-road time together too. But coming in here and participating in our live, getting in the comments tonight should be a good way to get us in the comments. I'm gonna put them on the screen. I'll even react or answer some while we're on the air. Now we roll into the main topic. These are going to be hot takes, some rapid fires to get us started. Put your answers in the chat. So the first part is it worth it or is it a waste? So as we go along, just throw in, whatever I say, put that in, and then put worth it or a waste. And let's see what we got. Big light bars. I'm talking these huge light bars stacked across the top. KC highlights. I'm looking at you. Nothing cooler than Back to the Future Toyota truck with the big KC highlights on it. But on your Jeep, is that a worth it or waste? And I'm going to let people let me know what they think about the big light bars. And for me, I do have lights on my Jeep, not a ton of lights, but I'm more of a stealthy kind of person. Um, I don't want to hear my light bar. I don't want to hear the whistle and everything. My big light bars are a waste. Yeah, I that's where I'm landing with that hot take. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some retro things that look really cool with that, but I don't know that. Um, yeah, Casey Lights totally worth it for the look. 1.5 MPG loss though, yeah, for sure. As well as it screamed big light bars are a waste. Thanks, Audra. Um, Bethany's there too. So, oh, Kate, good point. Definitely worth it during the 24-hour rallies at night. I would love to do a 24-hour rally. Maybe we'll do that next year. Um, and that would be, but that, all right, there's a good case point. If you're doing night runs like that, then it's definitely worth it, right? Um, Large light bar, a waist, a few pod lights is enough. Yeah, Sean, that's kind of where I lean with that. So, um, yeah, I think it's good. All right, this is awesome. Um, well, everybody has their own taste, right? They work and they light up. Thanks, Troy. One person taste is another one's waste. Ooh, yeah. Um, Dave, like it, but not worth it. All right, I'll see that. I'll see that. Um, Great for night wheeling, not fun listening to going down the highway. Man, that whistle is something else, isn't it? Um, oh, especially on mall crawlers. Ah, yeah, so I don't want to anger anyone, but mall crawlers, man, I seem to really love that light bar. Kate, I might take you up on that. That would be, I would love that. I would love that a lot. Um, yeah, I think, after hearing, all the stories and everything about the 24-hour stuff, I'm into that. Um, Ooh, good point, Trisha. They're only useful when leading, though, because you're blinding the person in front of you if you have them on. That's a good point. Good point. I like that. All right. Next hot take: 40s for daily drivers. Is it if you've got a daily driver, and you maybe will it too, um, or maybe it's just a mall crawler, as Dave said earlier. Um, 40s, I guess I could throw 38s in that category: 38s, 40s, 42s. Um, Worth it or a waste? Um, I think I think that's cold air intakes. Maybe I'll throw that on there as well. We'll come back to that one. Um, I I am of the 40s. I I was just talking about this today. I would love to have 40s um on my rig, but I do wheel it. Um, I, yeah, no, I'm not doing longer trails. Glenn, you're right. This daily 40s, right? The real question is why not? You run 38. Um, my 40s are a waste for a daily. Um, if it's your daily, and it depends on how far you drive, right? I definitely think you're going to decrease mileage and handling, but the cool factor and the funness of it, is something else. Um, 40s only belong rig 1 tons. If you don't have tons, you don't wheel it, or at least hard enough. Sean, I'm going to agree with part of that, but I'm running 37s, and I literally, my front axle is a Dana 30, and if anybody's been out with me, I wheel that hard enough. But I was talking with Quinn today that let's throw 40s on there and blow it up. Gives me an excuse to get a new axle. Wheel what you have first, then move up. Loads of other expenses for 30s. I agree with that. Get out there and go. Not sure about 40s, but my daily has 35s. Only wheeled it once so far. Yeah, but it's a beast of a Jeep, and I'm ready to see it out on the trail. Let's go side by side with Anthony's and get it going. Um, Not worth it for a daily. Love to have it for a trailer Jeep. Yeah, it needs to be a trailer Princess. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend on tires to wear the tread out on asphalt. I think that's a good point, Dave. All right, here we go. Next one, snorkels. Um, do you put snorkels on your vehicle? Um, is it worth it or a waste? Yeah, Anthony, I know I've seen that Jeep go 39s, no problem doing 65. And I think it's important that you're geared, right? That's a big deal. All right, how about those snorkels? What we got? Personally, I don't see the need for it. I'm not running out in the desert for, fast running. I'm not doing some fjording of deep water. I'm very careful about how much water I go in. Um, and yeah, stay out of the water. No thanks for me. So not worth it. Snorkel, Mike, yeah, right. Snorkel is a waste. I have so much hate for water. Um, I thought the snorkel phase died years ago. No, I still see it on a fairly regular basis. I, I just, I don't, is it necessary? I'm not gonna, if somebody has it, I'm not gonna dog you for it. But is it worth it or a waste? Why would you spend the money? Can you justify it? Snorkel great for dust, but yeah, not here. Yeah, right, Trisha. Yeah, Jeep at the Ozarks with a Dana 30 and 35 with 42s. I said, yeah, he doesn't wheel it. Oof, that's just waiting to grenade, isn't it? Okay, I think you do like to test pond depth, right? I do it with other things rather than a $80,000 vehicle, right? When you wheel with Jim and a snorkel is needed, yeah. Um, we run mud bogs. Only reason we have them on, plus pulling Jim Sears out of the deep holes. Yeah, um, well, somebody's I guess gotta go in and see how deep it is, or take the wrong path through it, and so I guess keeps that intake above the water, right? I guess if you're doing that sort of thing, it's critical, and it helps prevent little hydro lock. So don't want that. All right, moving on. Beadlocks or faux beadlocks for a daily. Um, I had a conversation late, maybe last week or so. I keep going back and forth between beadlocks. For mine, it is my daily, so I know that those. Um, there's not a lot of them that are actually DOT approved, but um, yeah, just added weight and stuff. I don't know, but then I want to be able to air down considerably and not worry about popping a bead. Um, yeah, Dave, hydrolocked on motor on my first 4x4. Not a fun thing to go through. So staying away from water if I can. Justify having it. Yeah, all right, that's fair. And I feel bad for people who hydraulic. It's not good. All right, the Icon beadlocks. That's a good looking wheel. And doing it on your daily, killer. Do it. Do it up, Trisha. It. I will always say it's your Jeep. I'm with. I think Troy said this earlier. It's your Jeep. Do it. And what about B grips? Yeah, Method has those B grips, and they're great. Um, they're a great wheel. Most people don't need bead locks. but you do run them on your daily. And Glenn, your rig looks great. Um, yeah, that's the I think one or two wheels that are actually DOT approved with that, but that's great. Um, yeah, beadlock's not made for road, but they're good for wheeling. Just run them on the road. Um, also, you want to make sure that those are torque to spec, so none of the bolts come out, or as in you can add things. Um, Run faux beadlocks, don't hardcore wheel. Actually, there's some rock rash rings that are made to look like beadlocks with removable rings that you can paint and take care of when you gash them up. So I mean, there's something to be said about that as well. I just don't like the puddle of water that ends up at the bottom. Um, like when it rains or whatever. So, um, oh yeah, Mopar beadlocks. I haven't actually. I've seen them and they look good, but I haven't seen them perform, and I haven't had us try to balance them or anything, so I don't know what they're doing. But you're right. Mopar now has beadlocks. What's up, Jamie? Happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to you and Allison. All right, so that's a good topic. A little beadlocks. Um, hey, Jason, how's it going? Um, somebody, I think it might have been Dave, brought this up, but cold air intakes. That's our next hot take. Is it worth it, or is it a waste? Jason, just tuning in, sitting in my Jeep waiting to go into work. Wind is crazy. And as a Jeeper, I was driving home, it was snowing from work, and the wind was out there. And I was two-hand driving, which I normally don't do. And the wind was just absolutely crazy. And I don't, it actually blew me around walking from my Jeep to the front door. Um, yeah, so it was something else. Wind out there. So how are we feeling about cold air intakes? Um, I'm not sure how much you gain out of it. I actually like the sound of it. Has a nice little non-intrusive whistle, but I guess there's side of the fence it's worth it. There's side of the fence it's not worth it. Um, and if you're not doing a huge expense on it and you can get one on pretty cheap, I think it's fine. Um, in the winter you're already getting cold air, but in the summer it might help a little bit, um, bringing in that air, and it kind of forces it a little bit more in. um, so far not a lot of conversation around cold air intake, but all right, Mike, I don't think cold air is worth the money. I, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think it's great. Not worth is my vote. Thanks, Sean, for that. Um, all right, moving on. Unless I get a wave of cold air intakes. This is not rapid fire, but it's more of um, just comments that I heard um, maybe in the last week. And so before I run out there, they're nicknamed hot air suckers for a reason, because 95% of them don't actually intake cold air. Um, That's probably true, especially where they're located in the front. I don't know. All right, here's a phrase I heard, and let's see how everybody's hot take is on it. All Jeeps have problems. So drop a comment. What's the most annoying problem your Jeep has right now? Or if you think that all Jeeps have problems. And Dave or Danny, two Jeeps, worth it. All right, that's fair. I love that we have some opposing views on here. It's really, really It's fun. Um, so all Jeeps have problems. Now, I think kind of where I lean with this is all Jeeps have problems, maybe because we don't take care of them. Um, and I say that, you know, we get in a Jeep and we think we're indestructible, and maybe we don't do the maintenance that we need to do on them, and so they all, cause all kinds of problems. Yeah, all Jeeps suck. Yeah, Glenn, but we love them, right? What's the most annoying problem that your Jeep might have? Right now, I've got a couple annoying problems. One is I broke my Rockslide Engineering step on my passenger side. I need to fix that. I've got all the parts ready to go. Um, I my driver's side armor light um, drain plug pops out anytime my daughter drives it. So that's my problems. Let's see what we got here. Trisha, yeah, all vehicles have problems. Yep, Sean, 2025 JL, no issues. My old 2012 had quite a bit of issues, nothing major. Um, Make sure you keep the maintenance up on that JL, and hopefully, knock on wood, there's not going to be any problems with you. Jason, you got three at your house. They all have something wrong. Yeah, for sure. Um, but hey, that new garage works out well for you, right? Um, Sandra, they don't say it's a thing for nothing. My steering wheel currently keeps shaking at 45. Oh, yeah. Um, I had the same problem. Um, New steering. I did new steer smarts with GBX tubes. No shake whatsoever. Um, but love it. But yeah, sorry about that. That's aux battery. Yeah, that seems to be a common theme, right? I would do maybe a delete of sorts. I'm not telling you to do that at all. Yeah, I love them so much, Glenn. You're right. Um, my problem is not having unlimited funds to do all the upgrades I want. Truth, truth. Um, yeah, Mike, your Jeep is, man, it's still going. 2008, and it's, the only problems you have are self-induced, and yeah, and we've talked about some of those, right? Jeeps are a giant money pit, and they can be for sure. No doubt, Trisha. Leaking tops makes me crazy. Um, my top leaked the first week I owned it, and I took it to the dealer, and they said that they couldn't take a look at it. They had an external company that could take a look at it, and I'm like, my Jeep's less a week old, and I just poured water right on the windshield where it leaked right in. So yeah, they got that to it and fixed it under warranty. Um, Dave, yeah, keep spending money on more and more things I want done to it. Yeah, well, that's the way to do it, is to spend the money on things you want done, not fixing bad things, right? Yeah, it keeps you out of the elements. That's right, Jason. It looks great though. Just met a guy today with a 2015 with 150,000 miles, no issues. I think it's mostly a maintenance thing. There are some truth to that, some validity to that with the maintenance. Is it, when you have these nicer SUVs, these luxury cars or whatever, you tend to spend a little more maintenance time at the dealer with keeping up with your maintenance and your regular scheduled stuff. And we think our Jeeps are good. So I think you're right with that. All right, somebody asked me today, why does a Jeep need a sway bar disconnect? Um, and I was like, yeah, well, if you're asking that, maybe you don't need it. But if you want to understand and how it works, um, then let's talk about it. And I, um, is it something where you educate the person, or if they're having to ask that, then they probably didn't need the suspension they paid for. How do you feel about that? Um, More electronics, more problems. I, maybe more points of failure, probably, yeah. Um, wires, wiring harness shorting out over the top of the transmission. Whoa. Yeah. Extended warranty is the way to go. So they had to bring in a specialist. Yeah. Um, but if you put a lot of money and put a suspension on there, got a Rubicon, then you should understand why a sway bar is there or a sway bar disconnect is there. If you've driven a CJ or an older Jeep, you know why sway bars are there. Keep those things from right. But when you're off roading, then you definitely want to disconnect and let that, because you got a solid axle and it's going to absorb all the bumps and everything. And then with the disconnects, it allows the Jeep to maintain its solidity, but lets the axle kind of move back and forth. Um, Glenn, you're right. Education is the key. They may not know, but they want to enjoy their Jeep to the fullest. We all had to learn at some point. Exactly. I mean, that's one of the reasons I do this podcast, right? We do edutainment as well, right? Um, but it's, do you how do you approach that? If they're wanting to learn, 100%, let's go in there, let's help them out. Let's get that going. All right. Here's where I may lose listeners. I'm just kidding. But the gloves are coming off. Um, Most Jeeps are overlifted and underdriven. Is that a true statement? Does that hit home for anybody? Or do you agree with that statement? Um, I know mine, I've got that 3.5-inch Adventure X series rock crawler kit, and I know that I got more than 3.5 out of it on 37s. I don't think mine finally is overlifted. I think it's in perfect condition. And um, when I wheel with it, it's absolutely amazing. Um, but I think it makes all the difference in the world when I'm off roading. On highway, a lot of times, if it's not a great vehicle that, it's not done right, it could handle very poorly being very lifted. Um, Mike, you admit it, didn't understand the disconnect until I finally got them. Um, Worlds different on the trail ride, 100%. I think, and now even like when I took Lexi off road, she doesn't have quick disconnects. I still unbolted those things and did. Um, Alan, not most, but some. You've got a 3.5 and it's daily driven, but you also wheel yours. I know for a fact you wheel yours, and it does the job. Um, I, Most Jeeps I see are overbuilt, but it's their Jeep. So yeah, all right. I intentionally didn't when I got this one. I didn't build it um, big to start with because I wanted to wheel it and understand what it could do and how capable it was. And the stuff that I've done in a stock sport Jeep has been incredible. So, um, not a true statement for mine. 3-inch suspension with a 1-inch body, and I drive it daily. Yeah, go for it. Right. And I think your Jeep looks killer. Love the color, love the way it stands. It looks really, really good. Um, you see a lot of ridiculously lifted grocery getters that just get parked in the garage during the winter. That's Kate. That's the time that Jeep needs to come out in the winter, right? With the right tires on it, man, you're gonna be a lot safer. Um, I ran 35, a 3.5 rock crawler. My last Jeep at 37s, loved it, but it felt like too much. Not sure still. I might go 2.5 on the JL rock crawler. Is awesome. Um, the 2.5 on the JL is great. The Jeep really did a great job with the stance on the JL and JT, um, and their capabilities of taking those larger tires from the factory. So 2.5, that's still a great lift on there. I personally want a little more, um, but no, I think you're right about that, Sean. Glenn, yeah, I want to be able to park mine in the garage for the winter. Yeah, I can't even. No, it's not going in the garage. Love seeing a lifted Jeep that is being wheeled. Yeah, I agree. It's just great to see out there. Um, and if you're like me, you kind of split your time, and it's uneven splitting. I daily mine more than I will, but when I will, I want to will, and so, but at the same time, I want good road manners with my lift, and that's why I chose the rock crawler. Um, so, all right, next, seat time beats bolt-ons every time. So, is it the driver or the rig that makes it happen? Um, and from experience, I'm going to lean on the seat time part. The driver makes the vehicle go, and understanding where to put the tires, understanding how the weight distributes, um, and knowing when to use a little power and when not to use power. Mike, so true. Driver mod is the best mod. Yeah, absolutely. I spend the time behind the wheel doing things. Like you said, I wheeled my Jeep with under 30-inch tires for a year before I upgraded mine, and I learned how that vehicle reacted in every way. Um, so, Sean, this is a really, really good point. I think it's the driver first, tires second, lift in that order. Um, the only thing I would disagree about that is sometimes you need more lift so you can get bigger tires. But I agree that those are the things that make the biggest difference. Good point. You have all the best mods, biggest tires, and still suck at wheeling. If you don't have that seat time, then yeah, absolutely. Um, Seat time is so important. Hard to know what gear to be in, and just experience gets it, right? You learn these things, and sometimes we learn them by making mistakes. But mistakes sometimes are the best teachers, right? So I I concur with that. Yeah, seat time over mods. Get it out there. Spend time with people. Pick their brains. Ask questions. I love it. Jason, what's happening? So good to see you. Um, Lights before lockers. no, it's the other way around, right? I love it. All right, here it is. Grumper bumpers. Who has a grumper bumper? And Fab Four, any of those bumper type and cowls. Um, we'll go back here. Experience how you can have a lot of fun with a basic setup. Absolutely, definitely seat time. Right, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and that's something I'm very fortunate to have been able to get out on the trail a lot and learn how mine and other Jeeps react. So it's good. But all right, now grumper bumpers. My feeling on that is that's a lot of bulk, a lot of ugly going on. Um, all right, so hell heck no, Sean. Um, I know Radis loves a grumper. I don't think he does. I think that's sarcasm, right? Um, Yeah. I don't want to offend anybody that has it, but I've just, if there's ever been an impractical mod, um, then I think that's it. I think that's the most impractical mod. Oh, I want to be a designer for Fab Four. It's got to be wild in the design team. Just any crazy idea makes it to production. Oh my god, that's the right way to look at that, right? I really want to hear what goes on and how they get to the what makes production. Um, it's your Jeep. Do what you want. As for me, no. Yeah, I agree, Mike. But I I don't want to say this the wrong way, but it's just like with a lot of things in life. My first impression of somebody that has a grumper bumper or a cow is you're trying too hard, and I yeah, I don't know that it offers a lot of practicality. So no, no, it's just a no for me, dog. Um, moving on, big puck or spring lifts without the supporting mods. So I see these big lifts and they've got stock control arms or a stock track bar, no adjustment to the geometry or whatever. Um, but it looks cool because it's lifted. How do we feel about that out there? I know personally, um, I kind of had to take the slow way and do pieces, parts. But the instant I did a geometry relocation kit and um, an adjustable track bar, my world changed. And I think there are some things that are definitely worth the money, and doing geometry um, definitely affects that. So grumpers are the pick me vibe of the Jeep world. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. But how do we feel about not adjusting the geometry, and then people complain about how bad their Jeep is, and it goes back to that all Jeeps have problems. Well, some of them might be self-induced by you know doing lifts like that without adjusting the geometry or taking into account the things that can change. Maybe you've changed the pinion angle, right, and you haven't done anything to fix that with a new drive shaft, right? Yep. If you're going to lift it, get the full kit, buy once, cry once. Yeah, it's a saying that we use on a regular basis, right, Sean? Um, see, there you go, Kate. Buy once, cry once. Do it right the first time. Um, but yeah, Trisha, following right up with that, build it right, cry once. Skipping stuff adds up. It does. It took me 7 years to get my Jeep exactly where I want it, and the first year, I didn't do anything, and then started adding from there. And so yeah, but doing it it's expensive, right? It's a pricey vehicle. We've talked about that already tonight. But there are some things that you just can't skimp out on, right? You can't. You have to um, get the geometry right. If you lift it, you've adjusted things under here. Maybe your axle no longer sits centered, right? So do the right things. All right. Um, I've wheeled next to people with those basic kits. My rock crawler articulated so much better, less time getting stuck. Yeah, it just keeps the rubber on the road, right? And putting rubber on the rocks, you don't have to worry about it as much, right? Yeah, try to do it all at once. Yeah, so that's a good point. Save up and and do it right. Find the right thing, get the right shop. Um, I think going to the professionals and listen to what they have to say is as important as anything, right? Go to the professionals. Um, I started out not going to the professionals and did not like where I ended up. And then finally, I put it in the hands of the professionals and life got great. So I definitely, that's a really do it all at once. Yep. All right. Last one. And this is the mother of all. I hesitate doing this because I bet we're going to spend some time talking about death wobble. Um, how many times have we read on the internet? Somebody says I have death wobble, and the first fix is, um, oh, get a new steering stabilizer. Put a steering stabilizer on there, or get the double steering stabilizer to fix death wobble. I can safely say that other than it handles a little better in potholes, a steering stabilizer, does I lived for a while with no steering stabilizer, and because I tend to break those. I'm on my fourth one, I think. Barney Rubble did its number on that, but that's not the reason I had death wobble, right? Uh, and dual stabilizer for the win. Yes. Um, yeah, it's a band-aid, and it doesn't even band-aid anything, right? Um, Proper road maintenance helps death wobble. I would agree. Making sure joints are um, greased as necessary, making sure the bushings aren't worn, um, ball joints, all those things can definitely help. Um, as far as from all those cheap leaf kits, on top of a lack of maintenance, never had death wobble. There's some truth to that. I mean, components wear out when things start wearing out, like ball joints, like all the bushings and everything, and control arms and steering components. That's when that stuff creeps in, and it's not necessarily a shock that's on the steering that's the fix of that, right? It might mask some of the symptoms, but it's not the fix of that. You need to go find the right the right fix, right? Bushings, ball joints. Glenn, thank you for getting me on those Dynatrack ball joints. They're you know buy once, cry once kind of thing. Those. I wore through a set of Terraflex really quick because my system was not in good shape. But the Dynatrack is it's killing it, right? It's killing it. So I think again, take it to the right people, take it to the professionals, um, get the right materials, look for those bushings, and if a place, the first thing they say is get a steering stabilizer or new steering stabilizer, run, don't walk, run away, get your Jeep, go, and find a good professional, um, like those folks at Globex, like those, like the good people that I work at Dirt Life. Right? Find the people that know what they're doing and know what they're talking about, and let's get it done. And couldn't have timed it better with this, Jamie. Right? I think quality steering componentry can make all the difference in death wobble. Um, and everybody knows I do love my Steer Smart stuff. My kid's vehicle is all Steer Smarted out. Um, that's the way to go. How do we feel about ball joint deletes? I don't have an educated enough opinion um, on there. Um, I maybe that's a good show topic in the future. Kate, so we can talk about that and what are the pros and cons of that. Um, so I'm going to keep that one for a future show topic. Sean, if you're running 37s on stock Dana 4430, you're going to wear those components out faster. It's just part of the game. So regular maintenance should help out with that. Yeah, Jamie, steer smarts for the win. A little self. There you go. Um, I love it. I love it. Thanks, Glenn, for coming in with that. Um, I know people with stock Jeeps that have death wobble and regular maintenance and keeping up with it cure some of that. And so, some of it might be from the factory. There were bushings that were put into control arms or into steering components that just failed. There was a manufacturing error. Anything that's mass produced, there's going to be that sort of thing. So, but you know, it, it is what it is. But maintain that, change those items out. But thank you, Jamie. It has been a Merry Christmas, and 2026 is going to be a great year. Come see me, um, and let's hang out for sure. Jamie, it's good to see you all through 25. It was great being in the same places. That was awesome. All right, everybody, thanks for this. Has been a blast. You've been amazing coming through with all this stuff. But I want to hear more from you. Um, I want you to comment on our social media stuff. Maybe I'll do more of that. Maybe I should do more of that. Um, Also, right now we are looking for some guests for 2026. Um, I've already put together a good list of my own people that have already agreed to do that. But I'm looking for who would you like to hear from? Who would you like to have on the show? Off-road legends, particular manufacturer, or a great storyteller, let us know on the website. So if you go to our website, jeeplifepodcast.com, there's a new form to fill out and do that. And so that it fills in all the blanks for us. I really want to hear from you who you want to hear on the show with that, as well as we're looking for sponsors for 2026. We're offering monthly, quarterly, and yearly spots. If you do, go info@jeeplifepodcast.com. And if you know somebody that's looking for a sponsorship opportunity, wants to get their name out on the airwaves, we've got a great listener base, tons of activity live, but tons of downloads and subscriptions throughout the week as well. So let us know. Go to the website, fill out the form if you want to hear somebody, and if you know somebody looking for a sponsorship opportunity, have them connect at info@jeeplifepodcast.com. As a listener, what can you do? You can go to Linktree/JeepLifePodcasts, hit our Patreon, subscribe and like our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our Facebook so that you get notifications when we go live. But thanks to everybody that came on. It was such a great episode, and I really enjoyed it. Um, for me, it's going to wrap it up for tonight's episode. Our huge thanks to everybody tuning in, listening. Thanks for supporting the Jeep Life community. And as always, we want to thank our partners, our presenting sponsor of Armorlight, and then our partners Pipes, Exhaust, Alpine Audio, Power Tank, Tyree Lighting, New Jersey Jeep Invasion, and Blinker Fluid Productions. Let's keep those Jeeps rolling. Everybody have a happy and safe new year, right? And I'll catch you next time. Until then, here's a big Jeep wave to you, everybody. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with me live tonight. It was a really, really, it was a great show. We love it, and I'm Glenn. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. Trisha, thanks. It was a great year end episode. I had a great time. Sean, thank you for a great episode. Glad you liked it. Rez is awesome. Hey, Steve, what's happening? Alan, hope to run into you very soon. Thanks, Sandra, for tuning in. And, Mike, I'll see you soon, right? All right, guys. Have a great evening. I'll see you soon.